phrase is fake it till you make it. What do you make of this phrase, Jas?
My initial understanding was literal. Fake it till you make it means put up a fake show, live a farce, act like someone till you've reached a position, and then who cares? It actually is a concept where you can pretend to be confident and skilled. Eventually, you will learn the ropes.
But it does feed the imposter syndrome as well.
There's a very thin line between this phrase and inauthenticity. We need to understand we have to learn to strike a balance.
So have
this
you faked
mindset.
मेरी love lingo, love lingo, love lingo, सुन मेरी तू love.
Hey, welcome guys to another episode of Adulting Unadulterated. And today we're gonna talk ad hoc.
Yep, and that's the idea. And every season has an episode or two on adulting unadulterated. And today, again, it's going to be about randomness.
I
But-
love randomness.
Yeah.
It's my
We-
favorite thing.
Absolutely. But there is something on your mind.
And there's a lot of things on my mind, but I can't share them in front of the camera. But yeah, the things that I can share are there's a phrase, an aphorism, a self-fulfilling prophecy that I've read everywhere. It's all over social media. And my mic dropped right there. But that's a good thing. That means I'm saying the truth. And the phrase is fake it till you make it. Now, what do you make of this phrase, Jas? Because, you do get into the dissection of everything. So I want to know.
Okay. Many times we use words and phrases that we really don't know the actual meaning of. Sometimes these words and phrases, just by the sound of it, we presume that, oh, this is what it means. And that becomes a perception and that sticks on very early on and it's like an imprint. One such highly misunderstood phrase, like you just mentioned, is definitely fake it till you make it. My initial understanding was literal, like fake it till you make it means put up a fake show, live a farce, act like someone till you've reached a position and then who cares?
Okay. Now, my problem with that phrase is imagine a person who's saying, hey, I'm a brain surgeon today. I'm going to put up a show. I'm going to get into that operation room. I'm going to fake it till I make it. Hey, and the person dies. There are situations. So where does something begin to perpetuate a false fallacy and to continue with it is the problem, right?
That's
so
why-
it might, for you, it might be, okay, I'm just going to imitate confidence and I'll feel confidence. I understand that. But where does it begin and where does it end? Where do you understand? What's the
That's why initially, very early on, I said that, you know what, sometimes we really don't know the actual meaning of a word or a phrase. And from the lack of my understanding, I realized that it doesn't mean what we assume it to mean. I understand we have to pretend to be confident. And if you're a surgeon, you're going to pretend to have a successful surgery on the...
You're going to pretend?
That's your example that you gave me.
Yeah.
Taking that forward, my understanding is that when I looked it up, when I Googled it, I realized that, hey, the definition of fake it till you make it, it actually is a concept that promotes an understanding where you can pretend to be confident and skilled. And eventually you will, learn the ropes and you will have genuine confidence and skill through experience, through time, through practice, through consistency. So when I thought of that, a question came flying to me. And it was my inner voice. And this inner voice is like, hey, when you enter that elevator, and if there are people in that elevator, you consciously, subconsciously straighten up yourself, and you might have a very tightened muscle, like, you kind of, you want to be a certain way. And if there is a probability of a conversation with these strangers that can be awkward, you're going to put your best authentic self forward. Yes or no?
Probably. It depends on the mood.
Okay, fine. But if there is a conversation, if there are two people and you clearly...
I don't converse in lifts with random
But
people.
if you're in a situation and you have to, then you will not want to be obnoxious.
Of course not.
You will want to be authentic. So if you're authentically obnoxious, then that's a different thing altogether. But we human beings are complex. As much as we're seeking authenticity, I feel we are always confronted with challenges that keep coming. And this is time and again. And how are we going to navigate through these challenges? So when it comes to that, what does one do? You gotta be in the present. You have to be in that situation. And the only way to grow out of it or to navigate through it is by being in it. There's no other way. You have to be in it to come out of it.
So you're in a way propagating that's the way to go. Fake it. But okay, having said that, I want to put it out there that I think I have faked it for sure.
Exactly.
I mean, well, okay, but faked it in what sense? I don't want to be someplace. I have to be there. I have to put up my best face. Is that also constitute fake it till you make it kind of in that trajectory?
So there are different situations, right? We go through daily life. We are going through different challenges and situations that we're not comfortable with. Like, for example, a social setting. Okay, that's the last place I would want to be is in a social gathering or social setting. Why? Because I'm like an ambivert, and I don't like to socialize to a great extent. Like, okay, I'll do it for some time.
I think this is my observation of it. You don't like to socialize when people are drinking and you're not, right? Because you really hardly drink.
I don't like to socialize.
So there's a dissonance right there.
No, it has nothing to do with if there are pastries or there's alcohol or there is ruafza.
Candy.
Or there's coffee. Yeah. It doesn't matter. For me, it's not the external factors that's going to drive me into a social group or a party or whatever. It's just who the person I am. If I have to go to a party, I'll be like, oh my God, really? Again, the effort. Okay, am I going to feel anxious again because I can have social anxiety?
You do have it.
I do. Yeah. And I realized that so late. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know I had this. If I go, and there have been times in the past when I've been in these social settings and I've been like, I need to get out, but I don't know how to do that. And I'm like stuck. And I have no tools. The only way you can grow out of it is by learning how to be in that environment. And eventually, I'm not kidding, that becomes who you are. That becomes transcending in a certain place where you are eventually going to get comfortable with yourself. And that has happened. So I'm talking from experience. And clearly, I'm giving you a social scenario because I have seen it. And I didn't know that I'm faking it till I can make it.
Okay.
So for me, it's in retrospect. I'm like, oh, wow, this is what, so it works. And it clearly works.
But it does feed the imposter syndrome as well.
I'm not saying no.
It creates a cognitive dissonance. It creates dissonance. It feeds on, of course, psychological trauma to a certain degree because you're always in a position, probably, as you said, you're faking it. So your authenticity kind of drops, doesn't it? And it's palpable to the other person if you're authentic. The biggest problem right now is as soon as I open social media, and to be honest, all of us do reflect on social media as it being the zeitgeist of today's world. Every motivator, every guru is advising this fallacy of fake it till you make it. For me, the problem begins, okay, you're using that as a bumper sticker. Now what you're saying, going to a party, fake, acting happy, not wanting to be there. Cool. How many times have we heard about a suicide? And their friends and family say, hey, we didn't see this coming. That seemed like such a happy person. Do you see the ramifications of faking it till you make it? It just doesn't stop there. And we are desensitizing the society, and we are incepting it with an emotion that is totally inauthentic.
I agree to that. What you mentioned about when people put up a certain image of themselves and then the next thing you hear is that they're gone and you could never fathom that this is what they could do because they looked so happy. I get that, absolutely. But do you realize this phrase is a double-edged sword, right? Mm-hmm. Clearly, it is received in both positive and negative terms. Mm-hmm. And, the moment you think fake it till you make it, like I thought it more of a negative term till I actually understood the meaning. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of opened up my mind, another spectrum, like, oh my God, I have been doing this and it's really not what we all think it is.
No, I would like to beg to differ here because what you think it is and what I think it is and what someone else thinks it is,
there's a very thin line between this phrase, fake it till you make it, and inauthenticity, right? Mm. we need to understand, we have to learn to strike a balance. Trust me, when you say, the moment you hear fake, it's a trigger word. The moment you say fake, oh my God, it's like, okay, there's something not right here.
Yeah.
And I understand that also.
Yeah.
And that's why I had preconceived notions about anybody who just said it, hey, just fake it till you make it. I'm like, oh, really? And then you move on.
I get your point, because in a way, what you're saying has like visualization. People say visualize the power of manifestation and visualization, and that's what it teaches us, right? It tells us to imagine a life that you want and act like you already have it, and then just go on living your existing life towards it, right? Isn't that what it is?
Exactly.
But the inherent problem I have with this phrase is, make it so you don't have to fake it. Like, why are we telling society to have a falsity attached to them just to make it? And so for me, what does make it really mean?
Okay, make it means work at it.
Okay.
It's like work. You got to work on it. You got to do whatever you got to do. And if you lack something, then you have an opportunity to work on yourself.
So you're saying fake it till you make it is a great advantageous tool to be used?
100%.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a transitional tool.
So have you
This
faked it?
mindset. Of course.
I faked it too. I mean, I'm
And I don't see it as a problem till you make it a problem where you are living in a Delulu land. And you
but
think,
everyone does live in their own delusions. It just creates a synthetic society with synthetic emotions everywhere, and I see it happen. And when there's a synthetic society, the collapse is very near, because everyone is looking at it from their viewpoint, and everyone just wants something that the other person has, or and everyone is just so. Okay, I'll ask you an honest question: if someone was faking it, would you pick it?
Sometimes, yes.
So when you were faking it, you thought people picked it?
No, because I was faking it pretty well.
We have to ask those people. But yeah.
I always feel there's somebody smarter than you in the room.
As always.
So I can't really, in my head, I think, oh, they haven't caught me. But in their head, you never know that they've like seen you through, like in and out.
I think people see that through. I think if fakeness is not something, fakeness is right out there. It's palpable. It's totally palpable. I can see through it.
Essentially, faking it doesn't mean faking it.
Mm-hmm.
It means that you jump into the cold water. That's clearly what it means. Like,
मतलब तुम
jump into it, and that's the only way you learn how to swim.
इस पे एक statutory warning डालनी पड़ेगी.
Okay, but if I say that faking it means just literally jumping into the water and learning to swim,
and
that's
that comes
the only way you will learn how to
with a
swim.
warning always. It has to, because
Fine.
hey, jump into the water. If someone doesn't know how to swim, that's the problem with the statement.
Literal. Again, I don't know what is it. This is a metaphor. Don't take it in the literal
I understand.
sense. It's like, okay, there's a challenge. What am I going to do? Am I going to just run from the back door and be like, oh, I can't do it? No, that's not a privilege I have. I don't have that privilege.
Yeah, I do understand that. So for me, I respect you there. I totally respect you there, because I think you made a very strong point. Because to be in, you have to be extremely privileged to eschew from places where you don't have to fake it. You have to be extremely privileged to be in situations that you don't want to be.
Exactly.
Because all of us have been in situations, and I think it goes for most of us who are not so privileged as others, that we have to be in situations we don't want to be. That might be in social conditions, that might be socioeconomic situations, that might be in any way we have been. And sometimes you're right, that's the only way going forward, probably. But I would say that if we eliminate the statement, don't you think there's a chance for society to be triggered by something more real?
I agree.
So I have
something more tender,
more, and it can be raw. It can be anything, but it has to be something that comes, it's evocative, it's provocative. Faking it till you make it is provocative. Again, my question is, I understand it stops for you at a party or whatever, and you're feeling calm. What is a fake? Where does it begin? And what does make it? Where does that stop? To you, it must mean these social conditions. Where do you assume that it can mean so many things to someone else? And they might...
Okay, to your answer, can I answer this? This confusion that people don't know where does it begin and where does it end, right? clearly you have to be in touch with your values, and you have to understand that this is a tool that you are incorporating in your life to get out of a certain challenge that you're faced with, and you are being courageous. And it is about being courageous. It's about putting yourself in that situation time and again, and staying authentic.
It seems like you've been put in that condition a lot of times in your life.
Yes, and I'm talking from my experience.
Okay, and maybe I'm
clearly.
talking from mine. So
And every time I have to learn the ropes, and I am continuing to. And where does it end? I'll know.
okay, I'll respect that.
Okay, here's something for people who don't understand the meaning and who probably think that if they do it, they wouldn't know where to stop. I would say you can do a check with yourself, right? The check is this, that always check your alignment with your external actions, whatever you're doing, with your internal value system.
That's a great point.
And I read that somewhere. And
Wow.
I felt like that made so much sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense to
And
me
I thought
too.
I should talk about it and just share it here
That's a great point.
on our episode.
And faking it till you make it, and giving you a prime example is me. Guys, just can you come here? Like, my shirt is torn. And
Oh,
do you guys even know about it? Can you zoom?
I like it. It's your style, right?
It's my style. No one knew, right? So yeah, fake it till you make it if it works for you. But yeah, I think society has
Wow, I just feel like emotional right now.
to. Yeah, you feel
Because you just did
Valid-
that one.
validated your entire sermon, right?
Yeah.
Just by that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, nice conversation.
ढूंढे राबता दुनिया कहती हम अलग है हमको इससे क्या हम है राही प्यार के ढूंढे रहनुमा पल में जी के देख ले तू कल का क्या पता